What do we got?
All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the YouTube comments that we've had recently.
Okay.
First of all, Mason Cox, you mentioned him in the AFL, some footy action, and I think you said he was between 6'6" and 6'8". We had somebody come and correct us and say he is 6'11", 240 pounds. So he's a true monster, no matter what sport, no matter what part of the world. Like if he walked past you, you'd be like, damn.
Well, that makes more sense why his hits were so much more impactful. Like I was like, what the like it looked like he was like literally a car hitting a tree and just knocking the tree over. Like it's insane when Mason Cox hits somebody. It's something I've never seen the impact before. I was like, this guy has to be like at least 6'8", but I'm so glad that home guy on our YouTube corrected me there because yeah, ignorant, bro, ignorant. I'm just kidding. So like it's nice to have this feedback coming from people. Unfortunately, I don't have the shout outs, and I feel horrible to actually I do have this one, ADRTHO. That's right. Thank you for that. Also, we got a comment saying this is a little bit more about basketball at this stage too, but the captain of one of the biggest AFL, Australian Football League teams, represented Australia in basketball at juniors for the 18 and under and 16 and under. Captain of Collingwood, Scott Pendlebury, got offered the spot in the basketball program at Australian Institute of Sports in our capital city of Canberra. He turned it down, and Paddy Mills, so the story goes, got the spot instead of Scott Pendlebury. And he said he thinks that this story might be a little bit BS, but we love BS.
We love it. So anyway, Pendlebury was a point guard, and you can see it in the AFL, see it in his AFL advantages. Like Josh Giddey, he has 360-degree vision, and he shows the game. He slows the game like Neo from The Matrix. Boom.
Easy.
Let that blow your mind for a minute, because if that's what we're seeing out there is Josh slowing the game. Like you hear about like really great players where they get to this point where the game slows down for them, right? They just something starts clicking. But this is the idea of actually like slowing the game, or you slowing down to the point where the game is coming to you. And I'm starting to see that with Giddey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And before we go any further, Mark, guys, this is the last storm. Obviously, you guys are listening from all over the world. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're with Chencho. If you guys don't know Chencho, YouTube him. No, you need to go on Twitter. He is all over Twitter. One of the most positive guys when it comes to this team. We're really proud that he's part of the show. But I want to read this to you, and I'm going to throw it right over to you, Chencho, because this is really like how much we appreciate you. And it was a tweet that was written last night-ish, because it was probably early this morning. And it's by Thunder Chats, one of our really great friends over there with Thunder Chats, guys. He said, add Shea, add Kenny, and add Moose to this team. Play-in might be more possible than we thought. Add Chet to this team. It might have been a lock. All right? Then the next person says, Thunder D, another one of our loyal listeners, says, the guys over at The Last Storm always believed, by the way. Okay? And the next comment is exactly where we're talking about right here, is this is why we appreciate you, Chencho, is because you've been there with us through the muck. And you said, me too, although I've been called a homer, unrealistic, delusional, and probably a trillion other different names on Twitter, because you have stood with us and said that this team is not tanking. And last year, when we said to everybody that this is the year that this team is going to make it to the playoffs, and you stood there and you're like, yeah, these guys are right. These guys are right. Everybody started making fun of us. Everybody started calling us names.
And it looked pretty good when we started out, like the season early. I mean, it wasn't until the injuries, and that's like, we understand that every year. That's the risk. So we're not sitting here saying we believe automatically these things will happen, but you have to look at the talent on the field, court and say, what level do you have? And if they stay healthy, where can this go? But consistently, like Dave said, Chencho, you've been there leading the way in so many different ways. I think even when we got started, we didn't know what we were talking about. We were so fresh, but what we were really consistent in saying was there's a difference between like nasty losing and what Sam Presti's been able to do, which is build a culture of winning in the face of losing. Like, you're losing games, but you're bringing winners on the roster. You're training them for professional habits. And when you can start seeing those things, then you can kind of start ignoring the outside noise of people who just like look at the Vegas number line and figure, oh, that's how good the team is. And so that's a shout out to you, man, because like you obviously do your own research. And if you don't do your own research, then what are you doing?
So welcome to the show. And we're glad that you've been listening to us for the last 20-something months. You've been a great person. And like, guys, I don't share my number out with everybody, but Chencho is that person that I have definitely shared it out with, because to me, he's one of those guys I enjoy talking sports. So,
and I share Dave's number out with everybody. So if anybody wants it, just hit me up. I'll give it to you.
Welcome to the show, Chencho. And the floor is yours, sir. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for all those kind words. I think I didn't listen since the very beginning. I think that you started with the pod like in December, early December maybe.
Yeah.
Of 2020.
Yeah, it was late December. Yeah.
I think I get to know you because you were cursing a lot of people on Twitter.
That's a very kind way of phrasing it.
I read what I saw you in a couple or 3 tweets for this young contested or topic Thunder and down to dunk answers, and I really thought from the very beginning that I agree with you, and maybe I think I agree in the way that you write those tweets. I cannot agree with that way of saying that.
That's good. A lot of people totally disagree with that, and that's fine too. We know you've caught some crossfire, and some people, just because you associate with us, have made you on the do not associate with list, and we appreciate you taking that, because we've seen it happen. There's been a number of people who have even just got off of the platform because, like, it's a mob. Like, there were days where we were getting hundreds of comments and people were coming at us and they were trying to, like, I don't know, run us off. Yeah. But that was just feeding fire.
Every day we got like suspended from Twitter because somebody like turned us in, like, every day. And then like it was horrible because if you guys go to Apple and you guys check out our ratings, they're horrible because like Down to Dunk and all these guys are like, gotta go give them horrible rankings. And I'm cool with it because it makes us look different from everybody else. But we have a shit ton of 1-star ratings, and I kind of laugh, and I know we suck sometimes, but still, it's great shit, dude, to know that like people look at us and they're like, yeah, we're so irritating. We got to give them a 1-star because otherwise they're gonna start listening to these people more than us.
It's maybe you're not the most political. You don't say it in the most political way, but
that's true.
But I think you have to be different. If you want to reach people, you have to be different because, as I said before, they are very similar podcasts between. I really, at one point I was listening like 4 or 5 Thunder podcasts or maybe more.
Wow.
But
me too.
They were all the same. They were all the same. Down to Dunk and Young Contested. I think one from the Oklahoman, the Thunder Buddies or something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
And the Topic Thunder also. That I really liked before. Before 2020, I liked them. I really like what they were doing, but it looks like everyone had to be saying the same, because if not, they don't invite their friends to be with in their podcast, or they can have good guests in their ones. So I think it should be a place for, maybe I don't know if this the word, but maybe irreverent and different.
Yeah, you're right.
The word is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And positive
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, and just if you have something to say, like just say it. That's one thing. This is a total distraction, but I like distractions, right? But like my kids are 12 and 14, and now we have a 1-year-old. But I'm always telling them, if you want to do something, just go do it, right? So many people are waiting. And I think for us, and one of the reasons we appreciated you is because we were just doing what we wanted to do, and we didn't care if we sucked. And I think you saw us kind of like something I hear is like Sam Presti say is like, you know, you got to find people who can see things for the way they can be and not necessarily the way they are. And that's one thing about you. You've always seen us for what we could be, because when we first showed up, we sucked, and you stuck with us, and we appreciate that. And I'm just glad that we have finally worked out all the schedules and everything to make this work. And I'm hoping that we can have you back, you know, quite often on the show, because like we appreciate your insight, whether it's on Twitter or whether, you know, now we're finally getting to actually sit down and talk a little bit. I learned a little bit of something from you, not just about the Thunder, but earlier we were talking about the Yankees, talking about football, talking about, you know, you mentioned some of the European sports and emotional reactions from players and stuff. And it's a great insight. So I value your opinions, and I value having you on the show.
I cannot say. I don't know what to say, but thank you, man. Thank you, Mark. You really, I told you, but you really helped me in the early 2021 when we were kind of locked in, not like in 2020, but here it was difficult to travel to go outside your town or village, maybe not, but you cannot travel very much, and I was not stuck with my parents, because I love them until death, but I was not in a good place mentally, and I really didn't need more people to say how bad my teams were gonna be, and I just need positive thinking. I have enough of negative people and negative things that I'm already thinking, so I don't need foreign people or other people to say more negative. If we are here, it's not to suffer. We have to enjoy. If they want to, they can do whatever. They can call tanking. They can say we're gonna be 15 and 67, and they can do it. But I don't agree, and I'm not gonna listen to it, because I just don't like it.
Yeah,
and there's a small amount of fans, Mark and Chencho, that understand that at the beginning of the season, when Sam Presti stands up there and talks and tells you exactly how this Thunder team and how you should watch this Thunder team every year, or this particular year, or last year, whatever, he addresses it. He tells you what you should be looking for this year, the growth, the pattern, and different things like that. To me, this is exactly what happens every year. And if you watch the team with the outline that Sam Presti has given you, you look at it differently. You're not so upset when losses happen. And this is something that we've been trying to teach people and watch this team grow, instead of being just so focused on the wins and loss and in the draft. Because the second the basketball is over, all you're going to wish is that you could watch basketball again. And you missed all this time just looking forward to the draft, which is a small amount of time. So, again, it's pretty crazy kind of looking at it.
Yeah, and when you look at it, right, like at that moment when we mentioned December, almost 2 years ago now, right, and we knew the team was in for a long-haul rebuild, right, but the question about what that meant and how the team is going to go about it. And we looked at what happened with the first time we saw the team be rebuilt. And it was like, this is going to be a lot different, but it's also going to be following a similar process of like, trying to build winning culture. And we didn't know what that would look like. We didn't even know who Kenny Williams was. Lou Dort looked like, someone who we could believe in, but we weren't sure where that was going to go. Like, you go down the list of what we define as like a winning element of this team. Like, it didn't exist in the way it does now, but we just basically said our goal is to just watch this in its totality turn into something like that we don't even know what it will look like. So we just want to like pull up a chair and put ourselves in the front row and just kind of document it from even sometimes just an emotional reaction time of what it feels like in these moments. Because when we're on that mountaintop, like, we want to be able to look back at some of these post markers and say, yeah, we believed that this something was happening. It was something special, and we motherfucking did something about it instead of sitting on our hands. And a lot of that goes back to seeing the team with Kevin Durant start out with going like 3-29 or whatever. Like, you saw the hard times go, and you saw everybody abandon the team before. This time, you were going to attach yourself when they were at their lowest, and that's what all three of us have done. And we, like you already mentioned, Thunder D, like, he's a friend of ours, David from Costa Rica. He absolutely understands the same thing. And you know what? There's a whole bunch of us who understand that if you're going to put your money on one person, Sam Presti's the guy to bet on. And 100%. Why put money on it, right? What's more valuable is your time. So let's invest in becoming a part of the new community around this team. It's not the same community that was there when, Russ and KD were there. And I think a lot of people who were there early feel like they still hold those spots, and they can have them, but we're a new generation of fans that are saying we get to define how we want to be fans, and we're not going to just follow like sheep,
Yeah. I think I wasn't following the NBA was when they moved the franchise to Oklahoma. So I can speak for me in that time, but what I'm seeing right now, or what I saw, is that a lot of people jumped of the boat first in 16 when KD went to the Warriors, but some people stayed. They became Westbrook fans. Luckily for me, I can say it was Russ who made me a fan. Him and maybe Ibaka, who is from Congo, but he played for Spain. And after that, when Russ go out, a lot of people went with him to Houston and has followed him through his next two teams.
Yeah.
And we are few than we were 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But quantity is not what matters. Is the quality. Also, it's sad to see the Paycom Center half empty or half full, depends what you want to say. We all want to see the crowd at 100%, like they did for maybe 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years in a row, that they were fulfilling the whole arena for like 200 or 300 games in a row. But I think maybe next year, maybe not the next year, but in two years, I think we could be watching something similar. At least I hope so. But what I can say is I am a team fan. I don't have anything against player fans, but I am not gonna be fucking with the guys that have gone with Westbrook to LA. That whenever we are good enough, they come back, I'm not gonna allow those guys to say anything bad or anything about our young players that they will be still developing, because they are at least half of the roster are younger than me, that I'm 25, and they are like 10 guys are like 23 or less, that I researched yesterday that. And as I know better than anyone, as when you are young, you do some mistakes, and you have to learn through it, and we have to be patient. I have seen, and I think you have seen too in with the Yankees or with the Giants or with the Thunder. You're patient. Whenever the results come, you are much more happy that if you didn't trust from the beginning and were insulting people or disrespecting the players or the coach. And I think they are doing the things right. I like all the players. I can think of many that I really don't like from the young ones. Maybe the guys that came from Houston, I really don't care much, because they ain't gonna be here much time.
Yeah.
But all the from Dieng, from him to Shea or Kenny, or Muscala, who are the most veteran ones. I trust in them, and I think they are good leaders from the young guys. And I really like Dieng much more than when we picked him.
Oh yeah,
I have
is
to
he
say,
great?
That's who I wanted to
changing.
talk about too, man, for sure.
I'm changing my mind a lot about him.
Well, when we first drafted him, Mark, you said it best. You're changing your mind a lot about him. But I want to know exactly what that is, because my mindset hasn't really changed, because I've been on that mindset that this guy could come in, and after a short amount of time in the G League could be a big, part of this team. But that was with the G League. So how was your mind changed about him?
I really didn't know much about him, because I don't follow the NBL. But I thought like he was, at least now, he was a lengthy defender, a really good defender, that he know how to make, but he has not a tight handle. He is clearly have to work on that. But I didn't think he was gonna contribute offensively this from the very beginning. I thought he was gonna be more a defensive player at the start, and in a couple of years he could be the starting forward, maybe the starting small forward. And I think he could, if he develops all what he has, I think he's perfect. He could be perfect as a starting forward. He can handle, he can shoot, he can defend, and I really like his mindset, or what he says.
Exactly, with his size, like everything, is always in that context when you're talking about him, because there are players who can do things, but they're not 6'10", right? This 6'10" frame combined with what he's been able to do, and like there's a lot to like about that win against the Pistons. It's a preseason game, and we always try our best to remain calm at all times when it comes to preseason games, but we don't always do it. But Dieng was the real positive takeaway for me from that game, and what for the biggest way to explain it, I guess, would say like there were times at the end of the game where, and we'll show some highlights here, where he would handle the ball by himself, have the pressure on the defense, right? And he really closed out the game by scoring. by one-on-one, getting past his man. And we saw him get out on the perimeter and knock down shots on the perimeter. Just super smooth catch and shoot. Like, this is uncanny for a player his size. You add the fact that how young he is. But then to be able to turn the game over to him and say, okay, you run point guard as we close this game out, and him be able to do that at the level he did. Like you mentioned, that handle. I mean, it's not what you expect from a player his size, but like all he does is knock down shots and put his team in positions where they can win. I mean, I get it. Like, you got to give him some time. We don't want to overreact. But look at this. Like, this does not look like a 6'10" guy on the perimeter handling the ball against the guard. Get to the basket and do your thing. Like, what? I mean, obviously, you said it. Like, you didn't know about like how good he'd be at this, right? Nobody did at this stage. So, what do we have to look at? I mean, at this stage, like, what else can he do from an improvement perspective all the way? You're counting a draft process now in his offseason, into the summer league, into the preseason, and we've seen him get better every single step of the way. I mean, what else is there to say about him, right?
And I think I was thinking that right now that we traded 3 firsts for him, and we have only one pick for next draft. I think this year rookies can be more patient and don't have to worry very much about his spot on the rotation, and they can develop more slowly but surely. So I think the confidence that they have shown trading three firsts for him and not caring much about the next draft is huge for their confidence. They don't have to worry about their development. They just have to work hard and listen what the coaches say to him.
Yeah.
And I think all the rookies, maybe Jay Will is not really ready for starting this year, but J-Dub and Dieng, I think they're gonna be important in this team, and I can be more happy about those two guys because they are long, they have good shots, they are good shot, and they really look very confident. J-Dub, I think, I don't know about you, but J-Dub is like, I feel confident when I see him with the ball and cutting to the basket. I really think he looks a very confident guy, and that makes me be even more confident in him.
Yeah, and we'll go through some J-Dub highlights because he's definitely somebody we got to focus a big time on. But in the end, what was really exciting for me this game was Josh Giddey's 3-point shot. Started out smooth. He knocked down his first 2, but man, he just kept shooting, and I love seeing that. This is a preseason game.
The first play, right there.
Boom. Right? And
First
it didn't
play of the
stop
game.
there. And I heard the announcers for the Pistons say that in the warm-ups for the game, it's the first time they've ever seen it, but they had 12 players standing on the perimeter shooting threes, all spread out. And they were only shooting threes in warm-ups. He said, never seen it before. And I look at it, I'm like, yeah, man, this is intentional, right? Like, a lot of times I think with these types of things, it's maybe like people assume like it's accidental or, oh, isn't that crazy? But then you come out and you see what they're doing. It's like, yeah, this is how the team intends to play the game of basketball, which I couldn't be more excited about.
Yeah, we need to improve the shooting. We were last 2 years in a row and historically bad last season. So they have to work a lot if we want to be something.
Absolutely. And you see 100%. That work paying off. Sometimes, though, there's a difference between good work, and bad work. And sometimes you're working on the wrong fundamentals. And I think what we're seeing here in a big way is the right fundamentals being focused on, and you're seeing it paying off, not just on the obvious guys like Josh Giddey, but also like Trey Mann. Dave, tell us about his game.
He's just a pure shooter, man. Like when you have a guy like this coming off the bench, you need guys like this because he's one of those guys that will hit 3 or 4 3-pointers in a really close game.
Yeah.
And make the game not so close anymore. He understands the game. He understands that he needs to stand in a place that he catches the ball and shoot, or be in a place that he needs to get to the hole. When it comes to scoring, I don't know if we have a more pure scorer on the team than Trey Mann. I think he's the top of the line for us as far as being able to score at will, anytime, anywhere. I know we have Shea. I know we have these other guys, but Trey Mann's a different breed. He's pure in the aspect of that shot. It's so quick. It's so fast. He understands his role. He's not over trying to do things. And I think because of that, you're going to see a longevity with him. I want to talk about J-Dub because as you're pulling that up, if you back up real quickly here, let's talk about the starting lineup here. The starting lineup, we had JRE at the forward position, center position. We got J-Dub at the forward position, which I didn't know what I thought about that in the beginning. I was like, oh, this is interesting. J-Dub at that forward position, playing Dort, small forward, Trey Mann, point guard, and Josh Giddey, the shooting guard position. Now, that was kind of intermingle, kind of moving those guys in and out. It doesn't really matter there. But the reality is what we saw here was a real true 4-guard set. J-Dub, Dort, Trey Mann, and Josh Giddey. And we blitzed them. And it was really great to watch because I felt like J-Dub, I felt like he had the best game of everybody tonight. 16 points, 3 steals, 3 assists, 7 rebounds, one of which was offensive, a 1 for 2 on 3-pointers, and 7 for 10 on field goals. He attacked the hole. He spread the ball. He understood the game. And again, another incredible elite way. Where to cut, where to go. You have Baisley on the block, clogging things up. And what does he do? He goes to that 3-point line. Instead of trying to go for an easier bucket, which you would have been going down to the hole against another body. Again, driving to the hole with those
moving
like
into space,
alien arms.
Right? Instead of moving to a contested place, right? That's something we hear people talking a lot about Giddey teaching the NBA, right?
Oh.
That's what we want. Space.
And that step right there, man, that step through step to get through defenders. It's again, this is what you see from a 3rd or 4th year vet, not a rookie.
Absolutely,
man. I really think he looks so long. It was the balls that he stole. It looked like it was really easy for him to have those steals. They were like nonchalant. They were like he didn't care much, but he just puts his arm there and that's it. It's amazing how long he is. So
Crazy.
I'm amazed by his arms. I think they were like 6 inches long. His arms.
Yep.
He's like a 6'6", and his length is like a 7'2", I think.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He stays within himself, right?
His defense is gonna be really good if he really cares about defending. He could be a stolen machine. A stolen machine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about, I think, a lot of times, like learning when you have the advantage on defense, right? If we saw Russ, especially early in his career, but he never really stopped. Like if he felt like he could gamble, he would, right? And I think a player like J-Dub is going to stay home until the ball is in a position where he can get it. Now, it's going to take time for him to maximize his defense, but so much of defense is about position. And if you learn the position first and then figure out when to take the ball away from players, like that, you see a player like Steph Curry who you wouldn't think had the natural tools to be a great defender, but he's become a great defender because he understands how to get the offense to do something that puts him in the advantage, and he waits. He doesn't extend himself. It's similar in a way like how Chris Paul waits to do the foul, to get the guy to jump and then jump in until it's a bonus, right? You can get people to fall in love with doing certain things and then wait to take advantage of it to the right moment, and that's definitely something I think that will be a hallmark of J-Dub's game on the defensive end, because let's face it, like you said, he's got all the natural tools. Like the one thing you didn't mention, but like he's got nearly a 40-inch vertical, I think, on top of that massive wingspan and being already a big player for his size. And we got some assists here from Josh Giddey. Okay, we got 9 of them. That seems like a low number somehow for Josh Giddey. It's not, I assure you. But I mean, it's like people don't even know they're open.
Man.
Yeah,
the flick pass. The I'm just gonna get it in between these guys, right? And one-handed.
Yeah,
it's insanity, man.
Yeah, it's like the ball is on a string. Like that's like almost like it's a yo-yo, right? Like, or a boomerang.
That's exactly it, man.
A boomerang.
The ball is on the yo-yo for Josh Giddey.
He's got Go ahead.
The way he puts the ball into tight spaces, even if it's an air pass or a bounce pass, sometimes I can't believe how he's able to put that ball into that space. I don't know where the play I'm thinking happened, but I think this maybe in the second half, but like a bounce pass to Beasley that was between was just right a space like this between the hands of the defender and the ball. And
did he nutmeg him there?
That's what it was. That one to Poku.
Okay, the Poku. So let's watch the ball. Did he nutmeg him? Nope. Almost
though.
What? That's the thing in that spot. Like when I was playing, like a lot of times I wouldn't have necessarily had the confidence to throw a pass like that. Like I would know if I could get the ball to my guy, but my coach would be like, "Don't throw a pass that you didn't practice." Right? Like you have certain set passes, and that pass is something that I don't know how. That's just instinct, right?
Yeah.
And
the
it's
only
a
way
rat
to stop
pass.
this is kicking it.
Yeah. And Poku catches the ball, finds the basket, and luckily he's not too deep. And that's because the pass is the right spot.
But because the guy tried to kick the ball, what happened? He's out of place. It's like Josh Giddey was going to see that and give Poku a wide open layup, because otherwise that player would have been able to get a block right there.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that we should highlight? Sorry, go ahead, Chencho.
I remember a pass that he fooled the defender. Really one cross court pass that he left with the left. That I think the defender thought he was gonna pass it to the paint, to the inside, and he threw it so hard and so in the spot that I think Dieng was really alone. So the defender thought it was going deep. It was going to the paint and really fooled the defender, and Dieng has like 5, 6, 7 yards to operate. And I think some players are really starting to feel that what he can do and in fear that he can thread the needle with that pass. He are overreacting before he threw it, and in the end he has, like you said, he flicks that to the exterior with that strong pass that he does one-handed. And that's it. That I love his cross-court passes, that they look so easy and look so hard. They throw it so hard that it's impossible to touch it.
Yeah, and his ability to look defenses off right before he does that, do a ball fake, a head fake, and then on top of that, going back to what we started out with saying, all this is him leading the guy, his teammate, into the open spot. that's all like this, like that's what we look at and we say, okay, Josh Giddey is truly one of a kind. We haven't seen a player like him before, and we'll never see a player like him again. Although everybody's going to try to be like him because in the end, he's the type of player that changes the game.
You know, I'm in a group chat in Twitter that has a lot of mainly Thunder fans and a couple of Pistons and Rockets fans, and you don't know how difficult I think you know, but the average fan doesn't believe in Josh. They think if he can't be a 25 point per game scorer, he can be a starter or even a good player, a rotation player.
Yeah.
But
they look at his shot too much, right? And you hear people, announcers say it all the time. They'll say, well, if he ever figures that out, then whoa, watch out. And it's like, first of all, he doesn't need to figure it out, okay? But if he does figure that out, he's actually going to be a lot better than all these people think, because a player who can pass the ball like him, who if he did figure out how to be a 25-point scorer at night, then you'd be talking about a multi-time MVP. And I don't think anybody's ready to start tipping their hand to that. But that's how good of a passer is. And if he draws that much, gravity when he has the ball from scoring, how the fuck would you stop that guy?
He could be like a Jokic, but maybe quicker.
Yeah,
much quicker.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, and that's a multi-time MVP right there. And you're talking about already we've seen numbers from his rookie season alone that would lead you to think that he might be the only person in the league that could actually compete for Russell Westbrook's triple-double career numbers. All right, tip your hat to Sam Presti once again. Sees the diamond in the rough. Everybody talking down about this little guy. They're calling him 6'5", 6'6". Can't shoot, can't defend. If you look at that list, it's one of my favorite things out there. The list of things Josh Giddey can't do. It's so awesome. It warms my heart.
Yeah, he can do. He can defend. He can pass. He can shoot. He can drive. He can handle. He can do anything.
He can't play basketball.
It was like a scouting report from the I don't know what. Maybe the Ringer or something.
Yeah.
Like that, I think. Or ESPN.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of ESPN came out with their last ranking of the top 30 teams in the league, or 31 teams, or whatever the fuck it is now, who they believe that the rank's going to go. They ranked the Thunder 27th. All right? 27th, which is about the respect that we've been getting. But they put there in the bottom, right underneath it, they said, Thunder would be 3 spots higher if Chet was playing this year. And that's where I just get frustrated because, again, 3 spots higher than the, but that means the top. No, there's just no way. I'm sorry. There's no way we're the 27th worst team in the league.
But it's okay. We like it. Just keep counting us out. It's okay, right? I don't even look at these things because they only look at what happened last year. They don't really actually evaluate the future. That's not their strength. But I try. I do peak if I ever need an edge. If I need to be it's us against the world.
That's the edge. It's the edge in me, man.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And we need it.
Let's wrap this up, man, because we got things going on today. Let's get this done. I just want to say thank you to Chencho for stepping on here, man. I know it's not easy to step on a mic, and you have done it amazingly. Definitely going to have you do it again here because we love to have you on the show for sure.
Thank you guys for having me. I think for being the first time I have done a podcast in not my language, in my native language, I have done nice and well.
Very well.
You have. It's been awesome.
I hope thank you, man. I hope I can be more time with you. I don't know how you're gonna do it during the season, because this time, unless it's a festivity, a holiday, it's difficult for me to be. But I will keep listening to you because I listen in all the 3 podcasts.
Awesome.
And really, thank you guys. You are awesome.
Well,
Thanks, Chencho.
We hope to have you back maybe next week if you're up for it. I don't know what your schedule is like. We'll be in touch. But it was an amazing time to get to know you. I feel like we've known you for a long time, but actually to get to meet and for you to make the time from Spain. We appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who listens all across the world. We appreciate you guys because this is what makes it so much fun, is this community. And Chencho, you are a founding member. You get that. You were the only one there at the beginning, so you understand what we're talking about, man. So we appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we will see you guys on Friday. We got so much to talk about.
Stick on the phone, Chencho. We want to talk to you about some stuff afterwards. And, be on here for next episode. Friday, guys.
Here we go.